now? Okay, so for our chapter 1, this is all about identifying the problem and asking the question. So this is for the inquiries, investigations, and immersion for the 3I subject for the applied. So for our identifying the problem and asking the question, so this is all about the chapter 1. So chapter 1 is the problem and its scope. So tanan nga details about the problem, about your questions, about your anything i-identify sa imong problem, makita sa imong study, makita diri sa chapter 1. Okay, so this is just describing the process of your chapter 1. What is it all about? So it will start with the background of the study. So ang background of the study, okay, so now that you have clearly formulated a research problem, the next step is to accomplish the baseline of your research paper. You must explain the context of your study by giving its background. This may aid you in identifying your specific questions for your statement of the problem, as well as your hypothesis. There is also a need to list down the beneficiaries of your research, which will be presented in the significance of the study. You must also set the boundaries of your study by writing your scope and delimitation. So a definition of terms must also be furnished to facilitate understanding of your study. So these parts are discussed as follows. So first is the background of the study. So when we talk about the background of the study, it is an explanation of the context of study, which involves the current data or status of the problem, existing studies about it, and its history that paved way to the development of the research problem. It explicates the rationale why you as a researcher are conducting the study. Writing this particular part of the paper may lead you to your research questions. So actually, ang kanitanan nga step nga naa sa kanang chapter 1, kuana na siya kanang nagpasunod na siya, and then it is interrelated sa usag-usa. When we talk about the background of the study, other terms ani is your rationale. So mana siya, for example, yung title page, chapter 1, the problem and its scope. So mana rationale or background of the study. So mauna siya. This is all about the kanang kuan. This is all about your kuan research, okay? And then if there are studies related to it, you may also add it there sa kaning background of the study sa rationale. So as you write the background of the study or introduction, take into consideration the following guidelines. So first is, it should clearly state the reason for conducting the study. So makita sa background of the study or sa introduction ang reason why are you going to conduct the study. I think naani siya sa paragraph 6 or 7. And then it should move from broad to specific. So from broad to specific. So kinahanglan naay kanang content nga naa didto, and then imo na siya itagsa-tagsa. It should state the current condition of the research problem. So prior to writing and reading various literature and studies, making an outline is a helpful tip to facilitate the process. So here is an example of an outline of the background of the study. Muna siya ang sample. But before that, before the sample, this is an example of outline, ha? So this is an example outline. So first is your reading skills and its importance. So here, you are going to discuss the topic in general. So start from a holistic or world perspective. So from, as what I have said, from broad to specific, so diri, imo pa na siya i-discuss in general ang topic, okay? So ato ang example unya, kay ato sad siya i-digest, tagsa-tagsa, giunsa pag kanang digest from broad to specific. So first is ang general sa. Then next is mo ni siya ang example ang reading skills and its importance. So this is the general topic. So after that one, insert a condition that is directly related to the topic and to the focus of your study. So since ang ato ang general topic is reading skills and its importance, so nag-insert a condition. So meaning there is a condition that there na ay poor reading skills. For example, ang bata ba karon? Because we are talking about reading skills. So if he or she is really fluent, and here ang ato ang condition niya gi-insert is poor reading skills. So after the identifying the condition that you have inserted, now is you need to identify the factors. So what are the factors that contribute to the focus of your study? So since ang ato ang condition is poor reading skills, so there are factors affecting poor reading skills in general. So meaning na ay certain factors ana. So what are those factors? So you need to state it here. So after the general, you insert the condition, and then after the condition, what are the factors of these poor reading skills? So after you have identified the factors, you now state the current condition of the topic in your school or locale. So meaning asa nimo ikuan ang imuhang study, where is the asa i-conduct, where are you going to conduct your study? So here ang gi-state na current condition after the topic is the school's Philippine Informal Reading Inventory or the PhilErie result. So there are PhilErie results, I think naani siya sa kuan, junior high school ug sa elementary. Pero murag sa senior high wala ako ka familiar ani, pero labi na kung English and Filipino, I think naani sila PhilErie nga result. So this is now the current condition nga gikuha ang data. So after that one, after citing your citing the local or the where are you going to conduct your study, you now state the reason why you choose to study the topic. What is your reason as a researcher? Why do you choose that particular topic? And then after that one, so mao na siya, I mean this is the outline. First is discuss the topic in general. So here an example ang reading skills and its importance. So after the general topic, you now insert a condition. So from there, from the reading skills and its importance, ang iyang condition nga gi-state is ang poor reading skills. After stating the condition, you now identify what are the factors resulting to poor reading skills. So after that one, you state where are you going to conduct your study? And then the last paragraph would be, what is your reason in choosing that particular topic? So this is an example that we are going to digest. So the title of the study here is Nami Plant Extract as Termite Repellent. So meaning certain kind of plant daw that will be used as a termite repellent. Actually, this is very useful with regards to sa kuan STEM. Kaya ang ilaha sa STEM karon is ang sa tuin nyo sa STEM gani katong science chuchu. No, mao na no. Okay, so here ato i-digest tagsa ang every paragraph. So according to Iceman 2010, in his article which focus on termites, so termites cause less than 75% to 80% of damage economically due to home, wood, and craft infestation in North America. He stated that the reason is that termites are drawn to their food source and that makes them drawn to any type of wood like timber, logs, firewood, and other wood-made structures. He also added that termites can be harmful to humans due to its bites that may cause any allergic reaction. So in that case, it was discussed there from a holistic or world perspective, which is unsa may gidiscuss sa first nga paragraph. Gidiscuss ang all about sa termites, diba? And then kanang unsay gi-discuss it holistically because kanang how termites are how ang presence sa termites nga nakadamage siya, and then aside from that asa makuha ang termites, okay? And then on the second page there, Vulcan 2017 enumerated different tips that can help in preventing termites from eating wood, and one of it is using a treatment like rust oleum, a named product used to paint wood to prevent termites infestation. So this has been proven effective. However, the price is relatively expensive. So in this case, from the general topic ang termites, naa na dayon siya gibuhat nga kondisyon. So meaning a condition related to the topic or focus of the study. What is this condition? That ang termites di ay it can be prevented. So naa siya it can be prevented or there is a treatment. So mao na ang condition ana niya from the termites sa general niya nga idea, from ang condition nga gi-insert which is naay it can be prevented or there is a treatment for termites. So after that is the first and the second paragraph. So more or less ang second third to fifth paragraph nimo, these are the factors contributing to the focus of the study. So here it will be stated here ang mga unsa man ni nga mga treatment nga pwede di ay maka-prevent sa termites. So more or less 3 paragraphs for this one. So ang first paragraph would be the general idea. The second paragraph is the condition gikan sa general idea. After that one, the third to fifth paragraph would be the factors contributing to that condition. So after that one, mo na siya. Ang sixth paragraph na is the current condition in the research locale, or this is where you are going to conduct the study. So while in the Philippines, NAMI or intoxicating yum was investigated to have some insecticidal properties. So in the late research of the Department of Science and Technology, or the DOST, they had proven that this species of yum has various chemical composition. So there, state na asa ang research locale. So ari sa Philippines nato makita ang kaning NAMI. Okay? And then on the last paragraph is the reason of the researcher. Why are you going to conduct the study? What is your reason? So with this being said, the researchers aim to formulate a product with this intoxicating yum by disregarding its toxicity and instead using it as an advantage. The researchers intend to make a cheap inorganic termite wood repellent. So this is all about the background of the study. From the general idea, the first paragraph, the second paragraph is the condition. So ang general idea nato is the termites. The second paragraph is the prevention, the treatment. Mo ni ang condition nga atong gibuhat. Then ang third paragraph to the fifth paragraph would be the factors. What are the factors or what would be the treatment unsa man ang gipanggamit sa uban nga study? And you may also take notice nga naa diri nga kanang gipang-quote, gi-quotation. I mean not really gi-cite here. I mean gi-cite ani. So pwede diri ibutang ang uban study sa ato ang background, okay? And then sa atoa dayong ika-6th nga paragraph, this is where are you going to conduct your study. Asa dapit. And then the last paragraph is your reason of doing so. Nganong ganahan man kaana nga study. Okay, nakuha ra? Sige, nakuha ra. Okay, so next part of the chapter 1 is the statement of the problem.
Apa? Ma, apa? Ma, ma, apa? Ma, apa?
Okay, so the next part after the rationale is your statement of the problem. So when we talk about the statement of the problem, it is a tool in solving dilemmas in the society. So another purpose of research is to guide people towards a better understanding of phenomena, human behavior, human interactions, and other events in daily life. So this premise indicates the importance of meticulously crafting of the research questions as it sets the focus and drives the course of the study. So with regards to your background, so maura gud to siya what is all about your your research, but in this regard ang statement of the problem, this will be your tool, this will be your guide. Mura siyang map nimo, so asa padulong asa nimo itutok ang imuhang study. So this would be your map in guiding your study. Okay, so there are purpose of the statement of the problem. So according to Marshall and Roseman, 1995, explain clearly the purposes of the problem statement or inquiry. So first is to describe the substantive focus of the research study. Second is to frame it as a larger theoretical policy, a practical problem, and thereby develop its significance. To pose initial research questions, to forecast the literature to be discussed in the second section, and to discuss the limitations of the study. So here, ma-intertwine na din siya or ma-related na dayon ang imuhang statement of the problem sa asa nimo dapat i-focus. So para kan kinsa man ni ang imuhang research. And then another linkages also is it will be forecast na nimo or makaibaw na dayon ka sa imuhang RRL or your review of related literature. So you will have an idea already so unsa imuhang nga mga study nga imuhang ibutang locally or internationally, because you are going to put there 5 international and 5 local literature. So and then the last one is also the malink sad siya sa limitations of the study. So asa ra siya kutob, asa ra ang boundary sa imuhang study nga diha ra ka mo focus. Okay, so the statement of the problem has 2 parts. So first is the general statement of the problem and then the specific. So from the general and then ang specific. So sa first paragraph mao na ibutang ang general problem nimo, and then ang sa second paragraph mao na to siya specifically this will answer or questions or the researchers dayon i-itemize na nimo number 1 and then up to pila ka buok ang imuhang questions depende sa imuhang general statement of the problem. So how are you going to formulate general statement of the problem? So here, this is an example of a general statement of the problem. So the purpose of this, ang gigamit niya nga kanang design is ethnographic study. So that is the type of study that the researcher is going to use is to describe. So how are they going to describe the study? So exploratory and non-directional verb. So kani siya kay when we talk about ethnographic, so kani siya qualitative nga research, okay? the training. So the training here, state ni siya ang central phenomenon of the study. So diri siya maoy ni siya ang kanang mean, okay? So of AITA teachers from Castillejo, Zambales. So these are the participants, the AITA teachers for the past 10 years. So when kanus-a man ni nahitabo to provide insights into the formulation of a continuing education model for indigenous teachers. So this is the purpose. So sa imuhang general statement of the problem, makita ang what type of study are you going to use. Then you are going to describe the research design nga imuhang gamiton, and then what would be the central phenomenon of your study, who are the participants of your study, when it happened, and what is the purpose of your study. So diha makita sa general statement of the problem. So mao na siya ang pinakabuod. Mao na ay mo gusto kuhaon sa imong study. And then after that one, imo dayon siya specified. So from the general and then imo dayon specific. So these are the guidelines in formulating specific questions or sub-question. So first is begin the research questions with the what or how explanation of the research design. If you are going to use the qualitative research, so mag-start then ka og what or how. But if it's quantitative, why implies an explanation of an occurrence and suggests a cause and effect type of thinking. So after that one, after you have proved your questions, now focus on a single phenomenon or concept. And then after that one, qualitative research uses exploratory and non-directional verbs. So the study will, so muna, discover if it's grounded theory, seek to understand if it's ethnography, explore the process if it's case study, describe the experiences if it's phenomenology, and report the stories if it's a narrative research. Okay? Number 5, if it's quantitative research, uses directional verbs such as affect, effect, influence, impact, cause, relation, relate, and determine. So Monica, the study would determine or this will affect, the study would know the impact or the cause and effect relation of something. So kung quantitative ang gigamit. So after that one, after you have after using the directional verbs, expect research questions to evolve and change during the study in a manner consistent with the assumptions of the emerging design. It is okay, for example, nagpass na mo og research questions, but along the way, you have posed problems or you have unexpected research questions nga na-evolve or na-usab. So, it is very okay nga pwede ra usbon ang imuhang research questions because it will define your questions or meaning pag kanang ang dagan dain mo sa imong research na usab siya. So, it's okay. You can change it, okay? And then after that one, use open-ended questions without reference to the literature or theory unless otherwise indicated by a qualitative strategy of inquiry. So you may use open-ended questions if it's qualitative. But when we talk about quantitative, so we are dealing or talking about data. Naasay data ang qualitative, but when we talk about quantitative, it's quantifiable. So kinahanglan nga naay data nga ato ang magamitan og research statistic. So after, and then the last guideline would be specify the participants and the research site of the study if the information is not yet given. Labi nag if specify na nimo ang kanang sa imuhang research. So kanang imo din dito imo din dito butangan sa imuhang specification nga kanang who are the participants of the study, or kinsa ang imuhang kuan sa study. So imo dahil i-itemize ang age, ang sex, or if it's when we talk about unsa iyahang specification, if iyang strand and ang iyahang kuan gigamit. Okay? So here is an example of kuan kanang gi-specify na nga questions. So the title of the study is Perpetuity of Family-Owned Business in the Philippines. So this is a casual model. So this study seeks answers to the following questions. So first is, what external factors in the enabling environment influence the family business perpetuity in terms of political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. So in this case here, from the general idea, gi-itemize na niya nga. So maugo ni siya ang kinahanglan nga makita sa imuhang kuan. Kay sa imuhang research questions, kinahanglan kaysa ako ang case amo ani na lang sa amo ang case, kay sayo naman kay I am going to use the MRAD. So ang chapter 1 all about the problem and scope. Chapter 2 is RRL. Chapter 3 is the methodology. And so ang chapter 4 ako to because ang chapter 4 is all the results, the recommendation, giusara nako, wala na nako gilain og kanang unsay panganan gilain nga chapter para dili na kayo kapoy sa ilang end. So inana ra kong gibuhat. So mao na siya dapat show na sa result, makita dapat sa chapter 4. So meaning i-answer kung unsa ang mga questions nga inyong gibutang nga this seeks to answers the following questions. So ig-adto nimo unya sa imong chapter 4 sa imuhang results, i-identify imong results, imo guna siya dito ibutang ang question then unsay imuhang nakuha sa answers depende sa data nga imuhang na-gather. So mao na siya. Okay? So this is also an example of a statement of the problem. So this is the major or the general problem. So this study aims to investigate the root causes of narcissism as well as its manifestations and possible forms of intervention. So in this case here, wala lang gi-state kung kinsa ang atuang kuan, kung asa ang ilahang kinsay participants sa study or kinsa ang research, asa ang research local. So pwede ra nato ibutang din ha sa major problem as what I have discussed a while ago. And then after the general problem, so mao na dayon specifically, so another paragraph dayon ni siya. Specifically, it seeks to answer the following questions. So number 1, what are the underlying causes of narcissism? Number 2, how has technology contributed to narcissist behavior? What are the manifestations of narcissistic behavior in adolescents? And number 5, how can the following help in developing healthy self-esteem, positive outlook, and attitudes in adolescents? So for parents, so kani siya na-relate dayon ni siya sa imong significance of the study para asa man ang imong significance of the study. Okay, so mo na siya dayon siya na related based pa lang sa imong statement of the problem, ma-relate na dayon siya sa asa padung ang imong study. Okay. Questions? Okay ra, nasabtan na ha. So I will entertain questions after na lang sa tanan nga discuss nako sa whole chapter. So after that one is your hypothesis. So what is hypothesis? So it is a preconceived data assumed to be true and is tested for its truth or falsity. So meaning this hypothesis pwede tinuod, pwede dili. So it has two types, the null hypothesis or the HO and the alternative hypothesis or the H1. So others, they are using the HO and the HA. So depende. So the null hypothesis indicates that there is no significant difference or relationship between specified populations or variables. So when we talk about null, so wala na siya significant difference. Wala'y significant relationship. Significant difference is used when testing whether there is difference between the means of two or more populations of variables, while a significant relationship is used in situations where one is examining the association between any two sets of variables. Actually, naani siya sa inyong practical research. Yeah, this is just a sort of a review. Naani siya sa Prac 1 o Prac 2. So balik-balik review ni siya. Unless kung inyo to ginumduman, pero kung wasa ninyo ginumduman, ay okay. Okay, so the null hypothesis is the hypothesis the researcher will try to disprove or discredit. So mo na kasagaran sa hypothesis, ang makita ra gyud is ang null. Ibutang dito nga there is a significant relationship between the mathematical, for example, the mathematical academic performance of the STEM students, and then their kanang kuan, and then their kuan saman in grades baron sa iyang general mathematics. Excuse. So you are going to disprove it or discredit it. So wala siya significant relationship or wala siya significant difference. So meaning wala nakaapekto ang imuhang grades, imong general mathematics sa imuhang academic performance as a STEM student. So that is just an example. While on the other hand, ang alternative hypothesis is one that states that there is a significant difference or relationship between specified populations or variables. So mo na siya ang bali. Ang null is there is no significant difference or relationship, while on the other hand, ang alternative is there is a significant difference or relationship. Okay, so following are some hints for the formulation of your hypothesis. So when we talk about hypothesis, naani siya sa quantitative na research. So first is be certain to read on the subject matter to explain with it before making a final decision. So second, as noted, a research hypothesis is more than just a topic. It has two elements or it has two variables that are in relation to each other. Your hypothesis is what you propose to prove by your research. As an outcome of your research, you will arrive at a conclusion, a theory or understanding that will be useful or applicable beyond the research itself. Avoid judgmental and critical words in your research. So as much as possible, make it simple. More good. There is no significant relationship and there is a significant relationship. Maura na siya. Number 4, your hypothesis must involve an issue or question that cannot be answered exclusively by the discipline of law. Be certain that each term your hypothesis is clearly understood and defined. Do not deal in generalities or assume that the reader knows the meaning of the technical term. So make it you simplify it. Simple jud kay tanan. Specify, if appropriate, whether you will be dealing with state or federal law or both on a comparative basis if appropriate. Know that your hypothesis may change over time as your research progresses. So the same with your research question, you can change your hypothesis according to the asa daga ng imuhang study na. Okay? So this is some this is an example, a sample on research hypothesis. So, null hypothesis ni siya. So, there is no significant relationship between respondents' profile in the academic achievement. So, this is what you are going to prove or discredit. Meaning, wala relationship ang respondents sa two variables, sa ang profile sa respondents and its academic achievement. You will be expressing your hypothesis in three ways. First, as a one-sentence hypothesis, make it simple as possible. You simplify it. And then as a research question and as a title of your paper. So, based pa lang sa imong hypothesis, naa na dayon din ha ang dagan sad sa imong research. Okay? So, this is an example of a null hypothesis. So, there is no significant difference between the reading comprehension skills of control group and experimental group before and after the differentiated instruction. While on the other hand, this is the alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference between the reading comprehension skills of control group and experimental group before and after the intervention differentiated instruction. Note that not all studies test hypothesis. So, mo to ako giingon, sometimes a study is designed to be exploratory. So, exploratory research intends to investigate a problem that is not clearly defined, hence will not provide conclusive results. So, when you are going to have exploratory...
Ma!
Okay, so as what I have said, with regards to your hypothesis, dili na siya kinahanglan if it's kalitatin, pwede ra nga wala hypothesis. Ayaw. Okay, so I'm so sorry for the interruption. Okay, so let's continue. So that is all about the hypothesis. So after that one, after having the hypothesis na is the significance of the study. So when we talk about the significance of the study, kinsay ma-benefit or kinsay ma-benefitan sa imuhang study. So here, it pinpoints the benefits certain groups or people will gain from the findings of the study. So it must start from the most to the least benefited ones. So when dealing with your significance of the study, so kung kinsa ang mga tao or group of people nga maka-benefit or maka-gain sa imong study, so first nga ibutang ana is kinsa man ang least benefited. So it will start from the least to kinsa ang pinaka maka-benefit. Okay? So here is an example of kanang significance of the study. So the title of the study is The Effects of Verbal Bullying to the Academic Performance of Grade 9 Students and Jose C. Payomo Junior Memorial High School. So here, the significance of the study, it started with kanang ang first nga paragraph. So verbal bullying is one of the leading causes of mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety disorder, and mood disorder. So school as kinsa man ang magsuot-suot? Excuse. School, as studies reported, is one of the places this type of bullying perpetrates in. So despite the many policies implemented to reduce the cases of verbal bullying, still the problem continuously takes place. In your case, pwede ra gyud diretso ang first nga paragraph is, this study focuses on the effects of verbal bullying to the academic performance of grade 9 students in Jose C. Payomo Junior Memorial High School, school year 2019-2020. So the result of the study, wait. The result of the study will be valuable to the following. So i-state dayon din hikinsa. So first, so since they are going to kinsay mabenefitan, so as what I have said, it start from the most to the least. So ang pinaka mabenefitan is the students. So sila ang meaning focus aning study. So this will provide them knowledge about the forms of bullying and how to deal with it once encountered. So imo said
Ma.
kita Lula. Okay, let's continue. So, you are going to state also unsa man ang ilahang makuha ani. So, for example, sa mga students. So, para unsa may ma-benefit sa mga students, unsa man ilang mag-gain sa imong study. So, there you will also discuss it. So, after the students, ang school administrators dayon. So, ang result of the study may provide information and may serve as basis to encourage them to make regulations about the problem. So, mausad na ang makuha sa mga school administrators based on your study. So, after that one, sa mga teachers, unsa may makatabang sa mga teachers, unsa may makatabang sa teachers sa imong study, may help them to spread awareness on how destructive verbal bullying can be. So after that one, to the parents, and then last is of course ang pinaka-last good nga ibutang is to the future researchers. So this study will serve as a basis for related topics. A continuation of the study may be done to fill in the gaps of the research that may result to proactive solutions to counter any form of bullying. So in this case, ang pinaka-last good nga ibutang sa significance of the study to the future researchers. So sa ilaha good meaning, pwede pa, they can still add or they can continue the study based on the solution nga na-gather, or they can pwede sad nga dili lang gud siya kanang i-complement, but pwede pa siya mo again sad sa study, depende sa unsay result. Okay, so mao na siya ang pinaka-last nga ibutang is to the future researchers. So that is all about the significance of the study. So after that one is your scope and the limitations of the study. It states the coverage of the study. So asa ra kutob, asa ang boundary sa imuhang study. So it must answer the following parameters as much as possible. So what, why, where, when, and how. What is the topic and the variables to be included. Next is the general objectives. So meaning makuha ra ni siya nimo dito sa imuhang statement of the problem. Where, asa mo conduct ang imuhang study, when, the time frame, so hangtod kanusa, and how your research design, what research design are you going to use, what instrument, and the methodology. So, unsay statistical treatment are you going to use in your study? So, this is all about the scope and the limitations of the study. So, this is an example of scope and the limitation of the study. The title of the study is An Assessment on the Impact of Farm-to-Market Road Projects in Pola Oriental, Mindoro. Okay, so here is an example on where this study was conducted in 6 barangays of Pola Oriental, Mindoro, namely Barangay Kalubasanhon, Barangay Malibago, Barangay Maluan Laon, Barangay Pahilahan, and Barangay Pula. So maot na siya ang where. So meaning it makonduct siya sa 6 barangay. So in your case, pwede sad siya nga if the kanang sani ang imuhang kanang kung kinsa ang imuhang kuan kanang sa tuig nakalimot na ko. So kinsa man ang imuhang para asa nimo gikandak ang imuhang study. So if ever naara sa school, so ang imuhang state na ang where, of course, asa makitaan ang Daan Bantayan National High School. So from the city, pila ka kilometers, and then if you're going to ride the kanang bus, how many hours is it going to take from the city to here sa Daan Bantayan. So that is already stating where are you going to conduct the study. And then who here in this case, the population considered was limited to those households who were directly affected by the constructed Infres Farm to Market Road project. So in this case, ang mo nila limited ra siya sa households nga naapektuhan. Wala na to'y labot ang katong wala na apektuhan sa constructed Infres Farm to Market Road project. Okay? So for example, in your case, the respondents of the study are for example, in Mulag State are the 50 ABM students of ABM Marvel students of the Anbantayan National High School. Kana, you are going to state there also. Then the what and why is the study was concerned. So first is the impact of the constructed Infres Farm to Road project on the respondents. And the second is the relationship between the construction of roads and its impact only in terms of the answered household survey questionnaire and perception of respondents and key officials. So the condition of the respondents was to be described also in terms of their demographic profile and other indicators included in the impact assessment household survey questionnaire. So in their questionnaire, sa imuhang questions, the statement of the problem, dapat kung naa kay questionnaire, makita sa dito, prove og answer sad sa imuhang statement of the problem. So kung magbuhat og questionnaire, dapat in line sad siya sa imuhang statement of the problem. So there stated there nga ang ilahang pangan sa survey questionnaire is impact assessment household survey questionnaire. Okay, so how? The study included an evaluation of the economic and social aspect of the beneficiaries before and after the Infres Farm to Road project, as well as the respondents' demographic profile, income and employment, improved access and perceived benefits after the Infres road was constructed. So key informant interview was also used to gather data, especially unanswered items in the survey. So duha ang ilang gigamit nga instrument. So they are using the questionnaire and they have also the key informant interview. So na-state dira. So how mo man na siya unsay research design you are going to use, what instrument, and then the methodology. So in their case, walay time frame, but it was, oh no, wala good siya literally gi-state, but makita nimo nga naa to siya dinhi kuan kanang asa to dapit ha. So meaning ang mga ang sanay pangan ani ha, ang kanang respondents nga na directly affected sa kanang interest from to market road project from the construction of the road until nga nahuman siya. So meaning naa siya time frame from the construction nga kanus-a gibuhat ang farm to road farm to market road project until kanus-a nahuman ang kondisyon sa interest nga road project. So naa siya time frame. Okay. So that is all about the scope and delimitation. So more or less 2 paragraphs. So first nag-say siya sa scope and then the second paragraph is the delimitation. So asa ra siya kutob. Scope mo na siya ang kinsa ang imuhang respondents, asa nimo gikandak ang study, dayon ang delimitation asa ra ka kutob, and then what instruments are you going to use in your study. Okay? After that one is the conceptual framework. So a conceptual framework serves as an outline or a blueprint that you can follow in doing your research. So it is presented in a flow chart, map, diagram, or narrative form. So when using a diagram, it is still a must to include narrative to explain the details. Here, you show the variables that influence your research. So when we talk about variable, it is anything that has quantity or quality that varies in a research. So for example, if you are studying the COVID-19 outcomes, you might study home life, school, and community. So for school, your variables might be learning process and quality of learning. So to make your conceptual framework thorough, it is encouraged to make it more detailed. So this is the step-by-step guide on how to write the conceptual framework. So first is choose your topic. It should be within the field of your specialization. Second is do a literature review. Go over relevant and updated studies related to your own research and use reliable sources of information and use appropriate documentation. So after you have done your RRL, now is you need to isolate the important variables. So you need to identify the specific variables mentioned in the literature and show their interrelationships. After you have done the 3, you now generate the conceptual framework. So build your conceptual framework using variables studied in the scientific articles you have read. Your problem serves as a reference. In effect, your study will attempt as a reference in constructing the conceptual framework. So in effect, your study will attempt to answer a question that other researchers have not yet explained. Okay, so here is an example of a conceptual framework. So from the topic, so gikan sa topic, which is the outcomes of COVID-19. So here is the, after doing the literature review, so these are the variables nga na-identify. So home life, school, and then the community. So here, mo siya ang ang relationship from the home life. So ang nakuha nga variables is the relationship and what is the outcomes of the COVID-19 in terms of in your home life, ang relationship, and your finances. So in your school, how is your learning process? And then the quality of learning, is it still the same if sa katong wala pa'y kanang kuan, wala pa'y COVID, kay wala yung module, or ang sa community, ang economic aspect and social interaction. So there are restrictions. So mao na siya ang na-identify nga variables after the specific topic na which is the outcomes of COVID-19. Here is an example also of kanang conceptual framework. So here, ang independent variable is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of age, gender, grade level, occupation of the parents, monthly income of the parents, and interactive method. And then it is related to the dependent variable, which is the academic achievement of 4P's pupils recipients. So naa siya yung relationship. So from the main topic, so ang academic achievement of 4P's pupils recipients, so mo ni ang independent variable. Okay. So that is all about the conceptual framework. So last part of the chapter 1 is your definition of terms. So when we talk about definition of terms, you are going to list down and define the key terms used in the study in alphabetical order. So from A to Z. An operational definition refers to a specific definition of concept in a research study. This is necessary because it will clarify the purpose and direction of the study. So in this case, ang definition of terms nimo, you are going to define terms that define terms in your study. So kinahanglan i-define. So for example, if it's COVID-19, so what is COVID-19? So i-define na nimo dito. And then in defining there sa definition of terms, i-bold, in some cases, i-bold ang term dayon dot dayon unsa iya definition, and then it is sentence case. Okay, so there are two types and functions of the definition of term. So first is the conceptual definition. So that is the definition according to the dictionary, while the operational definition is the meaning of the concept or terms as used in a particular study. So we know if we are going to find COVID-19, so na siya dictionary meaning or according sa imong na-find sa Google, for example. But in your case, sa imong study, you will define COVID-19 according sa dagan sa imong study. And we are going to use the operational definition sa ato ang chapter 1. So dili pwede ang conceptual definition, okay? So here is an example of operational definitions of terms. So from conceptual definition to operational. So when we talk about academic performance, so mo ni siya, this is according to the dictionary term. But in operational definition, so when we talk about CCT or the conditional cash transfer, so mao ni siya ang atong mga Okay, so when we talk about the CCT, so mo ni siya, you are for example, with regards to your study, so you are going to identify that CCT, these are conditional cash transfer. So for example, katong 4Ps, so mo to imo identify nga kani siya ang imuhang sa for example sa imong scope and delimitation. So ni focus ra gud ka sa 4Ps nga recipient when we talk about the CCT, kay na may 4Ps nga naasay ka ng unsa pa nang lain ana kanang usa MCCT. So here ang imo ra gud ikuan nga these are all 4Ps nga respondents. Mo na siya. When we talk about the conditional cash transfer. Okay, so in doing your definition of terms, so naaghapon siya paragraph. So in first paragraph, in order to enable better understanding of the study, the following terminologies were operationally or conceptually defined. So muna siya. So A to Z. So affixation. So what do we mean by affixation? So when we talk about in your study, and then until sa last nga more or less naa siya 10 terms nga ibutang sa imong definition of terms. Okay? So mo na siya. Last is Facebook. So from A to Z. Okay, so that is all about my presentation with regards to chapter 1. So for my students, you are going to submit your chapter 1 on March 11th, so Friday. So I am going to wait for it until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So since I will be going to entertain your questions, so I am going to stop the recording now. And for those who did not attend our, what they call this one, attendee, so pwede na natin i-post ang video and then pwede na sila makakita ato. Okay?